Hello, voiceover Steve here. This video was made in the middle of the night, and I think you're gonna notice. Sorry about that. I promise to be much more awake and alert next time. And second, the township announced after I completed recording that they would begin live streaming on the Wednesday, August 20th meeting. If you are interested in attending online, send an email to livestreaming@westdeertownship.com to get your code.
As it currently stands, without an ordinance, a developer could find a acre parcel that meets their needs in R2 or R3. And these could be placed next to a housing development such as Cedar Ridge or Grouse Run.
Would this not fall under a conditional use since the use in our ordinance is not defined?
Since the use is not defined, then it would fall under the category of all other uses. And for that category, it's not allowed in any district except, I believe, in I.
The township's still protected other than in I districts.
From the land use perspective, yes.
Does he remember 2 minutes ago when he was telling all of the planning commissioners that it could be built right next door to your house in Cedar Ridge? Do you remember him saying that?
If you're for denying, you vote yes.
He had to have known. He knows it now. He's just stating it. He had to have known it 2 minutes ago when he was saying the exact opposite.
Moving to the roll call.
Okay, Mr. Oresic.
Yes.
Harrison.
Abstain.
Maltese.
Yes.
Hollabach.
Yes.
Banks.
Yes.
Mr. Stark.
Yes.
Chairman, the motion passes 5 in favor and 1 abstention.
The planning commission has to be able to trust the township manager and anybody that he delegates to represent him at these meetings. It's an important week. It's a meeting week. And we have a whole bunch of new subscribers this week, which is amazing. I have no idea why, but thank you. And because of that, I thought it was important just to, at the top of the video, show a minute and a half of how we got where we are right now in regard to this solar ordinance that we're all talking about. And the solar ordinance conversation will continue into the meeting this week. So let's talk about it. We just saw the Planning Commission back in June deny, or actually, technically, they voted not to recommend the ordinance. And last month, the supervisors voted to table the matter until this month. So if you watch the full video of the regular business meeting, you will have seen that. I'm going to show some of the highlights from that video so that when you walk in the door on Wednesday, you know everything that's going on. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's important to talk about because there was a lot of kind of shady stuff that led us to where we are today, and it's really affected all of us in a negative way. But the thing that the Planning Commission had with the ordinance is that there was just so much mess in the ordinance itself. I want to remind you guys kind of where we were just prior to that meeting in July. We had just dropped the full video of what you just saw, and it caused a bit of a stir. And I'm glad that it did because I think it's stir-worthy. I think that people saw with their own eyes something that most of them hadn't really participated in the past. It was new to them, and it was surprising to see what sometimes tries to slip through. And it created some anger, and I think it affected the July meeting. So let's take a quick look at some of the things that happened in that meeting. Here we go.
frankly, I did a poor job explaining when I initially presented this ordinance for the board to expedite, let's say, to get some regulations on the books. So I'm gonna wind that back a little bit because I know Mr. Shook was asked some questions and the Planning Commission was asked some questions at a recent meeting. The way that we treat non-residential uses that are not listed in the zoning code is to allow them as conditional uses in the I industrial district. And I think some folks would say, well, then aren't we covered? Is there really a need to do anything right now? And I'm going to tell you, for two reasons, I'm recommending that the board does take action. First off, the conditional use process, it requires the review by the board after a public hearing of the criteria related to a particular use. So because there are no regulations or criteria for solar energy facilities, the board would have very limited ability to control a proposed solar farm use, even if it was limited to the I district. So for example, some of the regulations, and I think some of the critical regulations that we've proposed in the zoning ordinance include a decommissioning bond, paid training for all the fire emergency service personnel of the township, a view shed study to ensure that this use is buffered and screened from nearby properties. It requires a sound study to ensure that there's not going to be impactful sound that's going to be caused by the use. Another potential problem with leaving it as is there's not a lot of viable properties in the I district. And so a solar developer could make the argument that, hey, you put all unlisted uses in this zoning district, but that's not, my project would not be viable in the I district. And because of that, they could bring an exclusionary zoning challenge. And I think this is where some of the misunderstanding occurred, because Mr. Shook, I think, had said something along the lines of, hey, we're trying to ensure that this doesn't go in a place where you really wouldn't want it, such as an R2 or an R3 district.
As it currently stands, without an ordinance, a developer could find a acre parcel that meets their needs in R2 or R3.
First of all, let me say this. Mr. Shook, I apologize for how you were treated this last week. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm a bit embarrassed for our township, and I myself want to apologize on behalf of the residents that did that. With that, I would, there's a lot here. I called Mr. Robb. I said, look, I don't even understand all this. It's just a lot of information. I personally would like to table it if I have anyone who would also like to table it, because there's just a lot that I didn't understand. No one is against solar. I get this thing like this is coming from somewhere. I personally don't understand all of these structures, and I know we talked about putting them on roofs, and that doesn't have anything to do with this, but I need to personally get a better understanding. So if anybody would agree to that, I would appreciate it if we would table it. And
I would make a motion to table it till next month. I'll second that.
okay, thank you for that. Motion by Mr. Hollabaugh, seconded by Mr. Smallman to table resolution, or no, ordinance number 462, solar farm regulation. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I would like to see us get something on the books, hopefully get something from the Planning Commission, but at least with something in place. But I don't know that because I don't have a full understanding. You've helped me a lot. Your explanation was perfect.
Let me ask, if we can't talk about this privately before the next meeting, now would be the time to talk about the issues that we see, correct?
Correct.
Or do you want each individual supervisor to come talk to you?
No, I mean, I'd love to, if they're, my sense is, based on Ms. Jordan's comments, is that she doesn't feel like she's in a position now to have that conversation. So my suggestion was, let the board members, review this further, even though you've had it for, a couple months. Review this further, because it's a lot to take in, and then come prepared to either A, be comfortable with it and adopt it, or B, say, after having more time to chew on this, here's the changes that I think should be made. And I think that could be a board discussion at the next meeting.
And my only concern is not understanding it, and I don't even understand why there's so many concerns, so I have to dig into it deeper because we have no protection. So that's that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, wait, why don't we want to protect something? That is what seems irresponsible to me.
I don't think any of us are opposed to solar. I know I'm not opposed to solar, but
I don't know
Yeah,
either. I
show
just don't
some.
understand all of the acronyms and I just don't.
So one of the big concerns that I saw was that all the energy created had to be used on site.
So there is this concept of selling some back to the grid. I talked to Mr. Shook about that. We believe that the ordinance can be interpreted to allow, because it's being generated and for that limited purpose of being back to the grid. We're not trying to restrict that. It's not written as clearly as it could be, but I think that could be a township interpretation Mr. Shook and I have already discussed.
Yikes. So there you have it. Anything jump out at you in that? Because for me, what jumped out at me was Bev Jordan stumbling over herself to make it sound like she is so naive that she couldn't possibly understand this ordinance. It was a role that they created for her, I have no doubt about that, in order to find a way to table this for a month while the heat is on, which is bizarre to me. Bev is a smart woman, and this has been on her plate since May. And the ordinance, although not a short ordinance, it's 22 pages. You could read it in 20 minutes. And then you had Gavin falling on his sword. Gavin's a smart person too, and he doesn't care. He'll fall on his sword because it doesn't matter. And it takes heat off of the supervisor chair. As a parent of 2 grown daughters in the workforce, I hope that they know we're so far beyond women having to play the dumb card. It's just ridiculous. It was kind of sad, actually. It was kind of sad and very, very awkward to watch. But whatever. But whatever, you know. What do I know?